Hello. How's everybody doing today? Gosh, man, it's a good day, isn't it? I think every day is a good day, but maybe that's just me. But, I want to first of all thank those that have reached out to be part of the RBT Shred program that we have launching next Monday. So for those that have reached out, don't worry, we're going to be getting in touch with you very shortly. But thank you first and foremost for reaching out and expressing an interest in that. Today, I'm going to chat about how the desire to do everything perfectly almost killed me. Now, I know that's pretty drastic. It's a pretty bold statement, but this whole idea of perfectionism and this constant striving to do everything the best that we possibly can do, well, it almost derailed me, and in a big way. So I'm going to chat about that in a second here. For those that aren't familiar with who I am, my name is Dai Manuel. I'm a lifestyle mentor, business coach, and a facilitator, ultimately to help people deal with their own personal transformations. When I say deal with it, it's tough, right? To know what to do, how to do it, and ultimately why we're doing it. And so I really get a lot of excitement in helping other people realize how they can do it for themselves. And a number of years ago, I wrote a book, The Whole Life Fitness Manifesto. And so it was a lot of fun, quite a journey in writing a book, I'll tell you that. But it was a catalyst which sort of spawned the interest of having this conversation right now, because with more and more clients that I work with online and offline, this seems to be a conversation I'm having regularly. And just to have a little bit of backstory how this all came to be, at age 37, I had a moment, and I equate the moment to a Jerry Maguire moment. If you've seen the movie Jerry Maguire, there's that moment where he stays up all night and he writes this manifesto for the way he thinks things need to be, because he's just opposed, right? He's finding that he's got a lot of internal conflict with doing things the way it used to be done. And he knew there had to be a better way that felt more ethically correct, if you will, or more in alignment with who he is and who he wants to be. And at age 37, I had a similar moment. I remember being on a flight heading out to Ontario, and I live here in Vancouver now, or at least when I'm in Vancouver, this is where I'm hanging out. But I was flying to Toronto. It was January. It was, January in the fitness industry is a crazy time of year. I was burnt out. I was really tired, really fatigued, hadn't seen my family for a while. So I went out to visit family. And on that flight out, I literally felt inspired to really take a hard look at my life. Look at the things that I was doing, looking at the things that I enjoyed, some of the things that I didn't really enjoy, and some of the things that I really wanted in my life. Those things that you want to create for yourself or to manifest for yourself. And that's a pretty daunting idea. You'll have to admit that anytime you sit down and you start that introspective approach to asking ourselves those tough questions, like, what do I want out of life? How do I make life better? What does better even mean in that statement when you associate it to life? There's a lot of subjective content that starts coming out. Anyways, I wrote a 14-page document. It was a personal manifesto. I outlined a bunch of things that I wanted to achieve before the age of 40. A whole pile of stuff. Because up to age 37, I was so career focused. That was it. I wanted to do everything well. And beyond well, I wanted to do things perfectly. I set a really high standard for myself, created a lot of pressure, but I would get so focused. And in my case, it was really career was the primary. And it eventually started to wear on me, working 60+ hour work weeks, in some cases 70 hours. On top of that, not leaving a lot of time for family. And, here I am as someone that's in the wellness industry, trying to help people live happier and healthier lives. And I felt I was living, quite frankly, a completely different path. I felt very disconnected, felt really stressed out. I felt myself wearing down. I felt a lot of negative self-talk arising. I also started to see my own fitness and health start to slide. I discovered I also had an autoimmune disease. And that autoimmune disease, it's triggered based on lifestyle. The choices and the behaviors and the habits that I had day to day was literally fueling a lot of the symptoms that were appearing as a result of this autoimmune disease. So all these things were compounding, right? And all I wanted to do was continuously push to be the best at whatever I could be. And eventually you hit a point, right? You hit a point where you break. And right before that breaking point, that's when I wrote the personal manifesto. I realized I got to make some changes. I need to really really spend some time and figure out what is it I want. Not only for me, but for my family, for the life that we want. And it was a very daunting experience. Honestly, sure, you get into a flow state, things start flowing out of your head and you start scribbling down all these ideas. But it's daunting because we're talking about our life, right? Like, this is a big idea. We're all on our own journeys right now. We're all the heroes of our own stories, and we're all just marching along to that beat of the drum, right? And we all have a different pace in mind. And here I was outlining where I wanted things to go, not only in the immediate 3 years, but also from 40 and onward. It was a scary, scary path to start on. And what I realized was in this process of outlining a lot of the things that I wanted to do, which ultimately became a lot of the seeds for the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto, which I wrote, was this idea of really getting clear on what your non-negotiables in life are, right? Like, what are the things in your life that are the pillars in your life? Like, what is the things that you cannot live without? That your life would not be the quality that it is right now without those pieces in place. For me, family is one of those. Fitness is another one. Faith, finances, those make up the walls of my house, right? And then I have a floor, which is health. That's the foundation upon which I build my life. And then an overarching roof of fun. This was ultimately what it boiled down to. And I learned through images. So I created this sort of pictorial representation of what my ideal life would look like and what are the most important areas, those pillars or walls, if you would. It gave me tremendous clarity. Clarity that I really did need, because I knew the path that I was on was not serving me. I felt very disconnected. And this stark realization happened when I realized the path that I'd been on for 17 years. 17 years, on one career path. And it was great. I learned a ton. Please don't think that I'm negative on the idea of a life. I don't regret the years that I spent there. It ultimately shaped me to who I am right now. I realize that. But it's a stark realization when you've vested that much time and you realize, you know what, this path isn't for me anymore. This isn't the destiny that I want. I don't want to continue to advance along this path. I don't even want to be on this path anymore. It's not serving what I really started to evaluate as the important things in my life. It wasn't able to support me in those ventures. That was scary. How many of us go through this process where we're just like, oh my gosh, I can't create the perfect life on this path, and why am I even trying to make things perfect? Things always break, things change, things fluctuate. It's a real challenging thing to balance, this thing called life. So why try to balance so hard? Why try to make it perfectly even? It's just life, it fluctuates. And so it was when I started to adapt my way of thinking, and literally how I was living was I started to realize it was far better just to focus on little daily progressions. Just moving forward a little bit every day, just a little bit. If you want to chunk out a mile in a mile run, I'm much more apt to do that in quarter mile increments. Feels a lot better on my body. I get to the end of a mile, I feel pretty good, walk, run. It's how we learn, right? To handle distances. You start with smaller distances and add on to that. But it's a progression. It's a progressive approach to conquering a longer distance. And life is the same way, right? When you start looking at all the things that matter to you most, well, how do you have a little small incremental improvement in each one of those areas? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be 100%, but just to make a little marginal improvement in each of those areas. So whether it be like you want to lose a little bit of weight, right? You want to release a few pounds. Well, heck, to lose 1 pound a week is awesome. Half a pound a week is amazing. Because if you think about that, half a pound a week over a year's time is 26 pounds. That is significant. It's that positive compounding effect of these little micro investments in yourself. And you can apply the same sort of effort to every area of your life. You want to learn a new language? Well, start a course, but just practice each day, even if it's for 10 minutes. Over time, it will make a significant impact and you'll pick up the language. But it's a journey of progression, not a journey of perfection. Tim Ferriss talks about analysis paralysis, right? This idea of always over-evaluating things. And we get to the point where we feel that things just aren't right. They're not perfect. So why put it out there? Why do it? It literally paralyzes us in some situations. And I see that with some of my clients that I coach, right? I see them getting involved in these programs and on these lifestyle changes. And if they miss one little aspect of what they've committed to changing, it derails them. You've probably seen this. Maybe it's happened to you. I know it's happened to me where, there'll be like a Saturday night out or even a Friday or well, let's just say it's a Thursday. You're out for dinner Thursday. You have a big dessert. Maybe you have a few drinks. You throw your day off. You wake up Friday and you're like, oh, well, that wrecked my week. I'll restart on Monday. Well, we know how good that is, right? We've basically just given ourselves permission to completely whitewash everything that happened, all the good stuff that we were progressing on, give ourselves a hard reset and say, well, I'll refocus on Monday. Well, you know what? When that happens, it's okay. Draw a line in the sand, acknowledge it happened. It's all good, but it doesn't have to influence tomorrow. It doesn't have to influence your next decision. Remember, it's about progression, not perfection. Anyways, food for thought, right? Think about that, because it's been a great way of living, because I don't have to feel stressed about always doing everything so damn perfect, because life isn't perfect, but it is a lot of fun if you allow yourself to have fun. And so yeah, little bits. Thank you guys. I want to just acknowledge, I know some people have tuned in here. John, hello. And Melissa, I want to do a quick hellos here. Nikki, oh my gosh, Chris, Pascal. Wow, Jennifer, Mike, wow, Shannon, geesh, everybody all over the place here. Right, thanks for the comments, John. And also we got Instagram going here. Oh, hello. Hey, Brett, how you doing? I really appreciate it, guys. Hey, Ashley. Awesome, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. This is all week long. We're going to be doing a series where we'll be addressing different topics that have been coming up, not only in our coaching programs, but also just with a lot of the people that we're connecting with, both on and offline. And we're just seeing a lot of these really meaningful, deep conversations that we're having with people. And we're like, you know what? We want to spread those conversations a little bit wider. We want to get more people talking about this, more people thinking about this, because together, collectively, we can make big, significant shifts, right? We can really also hold each other accountable, help each other, nurture and nourish each other, so we can make these changes last as we pursue progression over perfection. So yes, please join our cause, right? And so check back tomorrow. Christy and I are talking about an interesting topic tomorrow. Very interesting. And some people aren't going to like this, all right? I know it. I already know it. I'm going to get some hate mail. People are going to be wondering what the hell we're talking about. But I'm going to leave this with you. We're going to be talking about why kids make us fat and unhealthy. Why kids make us fat and unhealthy. I know you're thinking, what are you talking about, Dai? You got a couple kids. What is this? You're going to have to tune in to find out. So remember, make your lifestyle focused on progression, not on perfection. Every day, celebrate your wins, just the little wins. You can have a little win every day. Maybe it's like turning the screens off at 10 p.m. at night. Right? Maybe it's making sure you get your 2.5 liters of water a day. Maybe it's getting 10,000 steps a day. Whatever one thing is that you can do every day to celebrate that you're moving forward, you're progressing, celebrate it. Celebrate it big time. Share it, put it out there, because more of us need to celebrate wins. Right? Don't worry about the things that we miss. Whatever you missed, no big deal. It's not perfect, but you're progressing. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate your time. Appreciate the comments. Be well, guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow, roughly around the same time. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Be well, guys. Take care for now.